Thanks for reading. Love you. And thanks to everybody who read. I wasn't here last week. Craig showed up. So I love Craig. Was any of y'all in here Tuesday? You saw my boy Twan? Twan's a funny cat. I love Twan. Like his daughter stayed at my crib while he came up here. You know, he's from Carolina. So he comes up, like once a month and he'll help out too. So I'm an addict. Is everybody in here because of drugs? I mean, there's a disease, it manifests, there's all kind of stuff. Gambling, but we're all in here because of drugs, yes? Heard alcohol is the worst drug of all. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I would be like, look, if I was one of these drug experts, which I wasn't here last Thursday because I got that PhD, keep it on the DL. Oh, pretty heavy druggy. But usually it goes alcohol, benzos, methadone, all the way down the line. That alcohol, some serious, you die from withdrawal. All right, so we're all in here because of drugs. Did we all come in here because we wanted to, or was it like my wife is, or the judge? Yeah. All right. I mean, there's got to be a few of you in here that are just like, I truthfully did not want to come here, but, I had to be here. Is there any of y'all? Yeah, look, I feel that way. Like the last thing I want to do is recover every day. I swear. Like the last thing I want to do, I swear to you. I say that because and I'm sure this is a pretty expensive place, right? It's got to be expensive, right? I know. And the thing is, the most profound thing about this disease is these meetings are free. Like, because me too. I came into all the damn treatment centers and did it all. And I don't know why I stayed alive. And then when I finally surrendered, I was just like, fuck it. I guess I'll go to those meetings. And it was the last thing I wanted to do was to go back up in them darn meetings, and to be like, great, I got to do this. And please, look, we're together. Look, the first thing I know how to do is use. I will use. Who's going to smoke a blunt when they leave here? I'm serious. I look, I bring this up, right? I bring this up because in my experience, the last thing that got me, right, was blunts. That was it. I mean, look, if you could smoke blunts, why weren't you just smoking blunts in the first place and living life great? Because when I smoke blunts, I got to have it as soon as I wake up in the morning. I gotta have it. And it's not even about smoking. Like I'll sit here and say, oh, it tastes real good because, they got like the blue stuff nowadays. It really don't taste that good. It's about me having power over something. Waking up in the morning and now I got power. I got control, right? And then I got to have it in my hand the rest of the day, all day. And if I wake up in the middle of the night, I got a half of one clicked over here, like nonstop. That's just how I am, that's how I am. I just bring it up because that's some strong ass. It's not the same. It's not. Is there anybody in here that's older than 45? That marijuana today is not the same. It's not. So, right? So it's like the point of it is, it's like, do you see how easy, how quick? Because I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be enough for me. I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to take one L straight to the head. No, it's not enough. Because I can take one to the head. And then it's like, boom, it's never enough. And that is hard. That's the hardest part about changing for me, was having to change people, places, and things. And I had to change everything coming in here this time around. I don't know why I surrendered and then so many of us don't. Or some of us die. A lot of us die. Last Thursday, right, I get to present this thing. And it's like, damn, y'all. I'm serious. My mother, my stepfather, Heather, Scotty, right? They're my brothers, my siblings. Brandy died as a direct result of the disease. Uncle Gary, Uncle Billy, methadone and Xanax. Shiloh and Dan, methadone and Xanax, right? And so here it is, April 10th, right? I'm doing this PhD. And Brandy, my sister, her niece, who was born like 1 pound, 10 ounces, right, in Baltimore, my mother took full custody of her. Bam, I find out that was her birthday, but she's been missing since March 8th. Right, in Baltimore City. So I'm like, bro, do I want them running a train on her or do I want her dead? What's better? Well, I mean, she's either overdosed or she's being human trafficked at this point, right? She's been gone for 35 days with 2 kids. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is right? That's the disease of addiction for me and my family and how it came full circle. That would have been her 28th birthday. And then here I am getting to like tell everybody about it. I don't know why that's what I got to do today. At least today, because like people go back out and they use, you know? And it's the hardest thing I ever had to do. Like, and it's almost like growing up. Like coming into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, I was like, well, I was going to go to prison, which I'm not a prison cat. I'm not. Like I can do county jail, Sunday night, play for your chicken, but they'd eat me alive. I'd be fighting for my motherfucking life in prison. So I was like, I'm going to go into the Navy. And the judge was like, all right. So I came to the Navy, right? Newport News. I was only 4 hours away from home. So, you know, every few weeks I was high stepping at home and I got kicked out of the military, right? And I just stayed down here. And that's when I got introduced to Narcotics Anonymous officially. And I was 25 years old, you know? And in my experience, I feel like why did I have to wait another 10 years? I have 6 years and some change. Like, that's a long time, but I've been coming around for like since 2008. So like, I didn't get it right away. You know, I mean, I don't know why. It's like, as soon as I heard who's an addict, I was like, man, I'm an addict. But then I was drinking, you know, well, because weed wasn't legal back in 2008. So it was like, you know, so that's why I asked. Like nowadays, it's everywhere. Like it is hard. It is hard. It is hard. Like, not just, well, I don't need to drink now. I can just go smoke. And then that shit is so vicious. If you believe that you have the disease of addiction, if you don't think you're an addict, then, you know, I don't know. I mean, part of me still wants to be like, now, you know, and I don't know why I feel like I need that. Why do I need that to escape? You know, what is it about life that's so bad that I need to straight take a L to the brain as soon as I wake up, right? Or take a hit of alcohol, you know, or any drug. Like, what is it? What is so bad about life? I don't know. I think that for me, that's being an addict, you know? I mean, nothing is ever really good enough. And so Narcotics Anonymous, I came in and out. And then finally, I guess I surrendered. I guess I was still using. In fact, like I went to the institutions and shit. Like I was doing everything, same, you know, all this. And then I don't know. I was just like, all right, well, I'm going to do what they say and try to go to a meeting every day. Because they always say, like, you know, go to 90 meetings in 90 days. You ever hear that? Well, who's going with me? But do you know what I'm saying? Like some cat with 20 some years and gold and his life's all great. Her life's all great. You got to do 90 and 90. Okay. Are you going to do it with me? I never hear him say, let's go do 90 and 90 together. Right. And so like, you know, I'm not going to say that to you, but I will say a meeting a day. I swear. And I can do it with you. A Zoom, you know, I will do a meeting a day. Like I couldn't. So I surrendered. I was like, fine, I'll do that meeting a day, still getting high. And then I don't know, I guess maybe because I kept coming to meetings, whatever they were saying, I stopped picking up. I mean, deep down, I really didn't I wanted a great life. Like when I was a little kid, I thought that like I'd be living in the city, right? Like this music, money. Like, you know, I thought love was brand new, great sex all the time, and that everything was going to be wonderful. I really did. I didn't expect adversity and hardships, you know, even though some of the things that I was growing up and going through. And so at some point, I don't know, I guess I said I want a better life for myself. You know, I don't know why. So many of us don't. Then you know what they said? And I swear this was the hardest thing for me. They told me to pray on my knees twice a day, right? Get on your knees and pray to something. And I know we all have our own misconceptions or beliefs about the G word or whatever, right? And I don't even know. But it was like, man, for many years, I couldn't even do it. I'd go for 2 or 3 weeks, get on my knees, And then at the end of the night, like the last thing I want to do is get on my knees and just say thank you for the good day. But if you told me I had a nice fresh L to roll up, I'd be out of the bed, right? I'd pray, and I've said it many times in the rooms and I've said it here. I have crawled on my knees on floors all over the place where I never smoked it, like just crawling, looking for shit, right? But damn, you tell me, hey, if you really want to change, get on your knees and just say thank you to something. That was so hard. Like, that's so hard. It's like, man, it's so easy. It was always so easy for me to just fall back in, and do my old way of living than to like do this new way of life, which was, okay, they told me to pray in the morning. I got to go to a meeting. Then I got to do this sponsorship thing, which that's the most uncomfortable thing I've ever went through in my life. Like, call somebody for 30 days. Why? Like, why? It's weird, because I come to find out I struggle with relationships when I get clean. I'm like, I can be sick of people. I know them. You know what I mean? I know who they are. I don't need them. I don't have the energy to give, but damn, if that was somebody giving me some dope or anything, I would call them. I'd call them. I didn't even have to know them. If you would have handed me a piece of paper and said, hey, you call X at 2 a.m. tomorrow, I'd set my alarm for 1:50 a.m., right? And they said, oh, you got to leave your children and your wife at home and run up the street. I'd make an excuse. I'd be able to sneak out. You could lock me in a room with nothing. Bare walls. I would find a way to like liquidate out of the room and get what I need, And so it was like, man, I had to call somebody for 30 days, and then work the steps and do all those things. And I swear, like, it's amazing. I mean, it's great. It's an amazing life. I don't have to worry about, and damn, did I miss fucking probation? Shit. Like, I don't have to worry about that. And all those bad things that I did, like, I swear to y'all. And that's another thing, like step 4, the whole inventory thing. Like, come to find out when I share it in step 5, there's always someone that's a little bit worse and there's always somebody that's a little bit less, right? So it's like, that cat may have had bodies in the basement. That cat may have had a whole body of families in the yard, right? Like, it's like you come to realize that, man, and for some reason in the program, God will put you with those people to share and they become your assets. I swear. All the mistakes that I made, right, using, all that are my assets today. It's crazy how it works out that way. But now if for some reason I'm like, man, I'm not going to go to my commitment on Thursday, or if I'm not going to get on my knees and pray just twice a day, like those little simple things, I start taking those away, then it's like, man, I have to believe that I'm going to use again. I have to believe that because that's what they tell me. And it's like, I don't know, that's what we see, and it's scary out there. And so, like I said, I wanted to have a family. Like I wanted to have peace and content. Like I always wanted a connection too with whatever, serious. Like I remember my mother taking me to churches. I grew up right outside of Baltimore. So we'd be going to all kind of different churches, trying to find stuff, and I was always turned off because I didn't understand why, well, that's Baptist or that's whatever. Like there's still a little difference, why is Jesus more white in this picture in this church and tanner in this picture in that church, right? Like I'm very self-centered as an addict. So it's hard for me to accept that there's billions of people that love many different ways and have many different opinions. That's hard for me. Like, just tell me that we're all the same. That's easy. I don't have to give as much, and I don't know why that's how I am. And so, and look, I can remember too, growing up in a family using hardcore with my parents young, I've shared that. And I don't know how, right? I'm on some methadone programs and doing all the drugs, and I'm a gospel disc jockey, right? In Baltimore City, WJRO, where Jesus reaches out, Shades of Gray, AKA Big, all these, right? Crazy, WBGR, but completely dying. And so, like, there was always something there, religious, trying to help and pull me, but religion wasn't enough. Like, it wasn't enough. Prescribed medication, guilty. I've been on meds since I was 5, right? Like, there was a boyfriend. He used to beat the shit out of my mom. She tried to leave. He stalked us. He kidnapped me. I've been on all the meds. Lithium, been there, done that. Lexapro, okay. All of them. I've tried them all, been on them all. That's my story. Now, there's some old timers that can be real quick to be like, well, you ain't clean. And I'll be like, well, thanks, old timer, because God is letting me sit here in front of you with the most amazing life I've ever lived. So if you're on medication, take it as prescribed, I swear. Just like the laws on the street say drive 45, that's the same as your prescriptions. We just follow the law, and then it's like, damn, life's okay. But something deep inside me, I didn't want to follow the law. I had resentments against, well, the military kicked me out, that cop, this judge, that law. I didn't know how to grow up. So it's okay to be on medication in Narcotics Anonymous. All right? Like, it's all right. There's always going to be people that try to say things that may push you out. I mean, Dr. Bob and the other fellowship, which love and service, that concept, Jimmy K and other addicts took that, right? He was on sedatives until the day he died. That's Dr. Bob, right? I mean, so like a lot of things, and I only know those things today is because I've been able to stay clean, and I get to come in, and that's kind of part of my job is I get to do research and learn, and that's how I try to connect spiritually. And so religion was always kind of a thing for me, or this answer, like, well, I want to know, what happens when I die? 2 weeks ago, I talked about how I love Cheetos and boobies. Y'all remember that we're here? Right? Like, that was my first, like, man, a bag of Cheetos, and then whatever people was, hey, Miss Sue, right? Love Cheetos and boobies. Well, if I die, am I going to get to see Cheetos and boobies again? Right? So it's like, I always wanted answers. I always wanted to know, well, what, do I get to keep those people? Do I get to, And today, Narcotics Anonymous lets me realize it. Technically, it's not mine. None of it. I didn't create myself, even my children, right? Which I know we can be hardcore, like, I will die for my children. And then it's like, oh yeah, I was a co-creator. My wife and I were co-creators of that child. And that child's going to have their journey, and go on. Because I want to hold on to stuff, man. I want to hold on to it. It's like, I know if I go and I were to smoke or pick up a drink, I can't let go. I've tried it. So I'm going to just hold on to it. And I don't know why the disease for me is like that. All right. I'm going to open the floor up for discussion. I want to thank you for letting me share. I love y'all. All right.
I remember all the times that I would go and get high, or I would go to try to get high. Always looking for that. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Angie. I'm an addict. And I would, look forward to that, getting high. And I remember this one time frame there, the shit was off the chain. It was just so good. And I was like, oh, that's great. We were driving. And I remember one brief picture before I hit a tree. And that was a little girl on a big tree. And when I first opened my eyes, I didn't know if I'd get that child. And that stays with me every single day. I still got high after that like a dumbass, but you know what? That stays with me every day, because that could have been these two parents standing there bawling their eyes out because I didn't, care enough about other people to just stay my ass at home if I was going to get high. So I make sure I keep that image every day to remind myself that if I'm going to be stupid enough to go out there and do it, which I don't plan on, I'm definitely not going to get behind the wheel because I don't want to live with that. No. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks, Angie. Love you. Hey, Chair, what's up?
Well, thank you for coming out. Like, I just want to thank you for, reassuring me at least that, like dedication wise, be healthy for you, and to not let that, like disrupt your sober side and everything. Like, I've been doing good. I feel like my medication helps me. I don't take no crazy medication, but I take certain medication that I feel like helps me out. And like levels me out. Sometimes you get a little, buzzing from, other people that, I don't know, I think it makes you feel, but no, seriously though, it kind of reassured me that, like I'm doing what I'm saying, because you got the option of, taking the medication, not taking the medication, I honestly feel like it helps me out. So, I just want to thank you for that.
Yeah. Look, thank you. And look, I don't even need to. I'll beat myself up. Like, well, I'm not quite. But I swear to you, I've never gone and got a key tag and had to pee in a cup. Never. I go to NME, they're like, come on, get your key tag, but it's not like they give you a cup to go pee in, right? And I mean, technically, abstinence is the practice of being abstinent, right? So it's like we all have our own journey to get where we're going. I mean, it's like, yeah. I say, look, if someone wrote you a speed limit when you're driving down the road and you see the speed limit, you better take it as the speed limit says. Me too, though. Look, and I'm not in denial. I told you I've been on meds since I was 5. Book me a room at Eastern State for 90 days, right? If I try to come, but it's like I can't deny the evidence that my life is, that my life has changed. It has completely. So I got to work at a daycare, clean, and like I was shooting up with my parents. You know what I'm saying? Like we would I'd shoot up my mom and all that shit. And then like getting clean, I got to work at a daycare, and awesome too with them old timers, man. They'd be like, well, you know nothing about serenity and coochie poop. And I'd be like, cool, because I got to pat 12 little babies to sleep during nap every day for like 2 years, right? And to hear them breathing and to feel, So like, yeah, I mean, for me, as long as I do the best I can in the program, lost dreams will awaken. They do. They do.
Anybody else like to share?
Has anybody in here, right, ever worked any steps with a sponsor? All right. Ooh, girls. Well, no, usually it's harder for women in the program. Well, first off, worldwide, let's get real. It's harder for women, right? It is. It's always been that way. And especially women of color. But then in the program, diversity is extremely important. But women in the program, it's harder because there's not as many women. And like, I've heard horror stories where like, they may have talked or spread lies or whatever. What was your experience? If you're willing to share.
Sure, I'm Shannon. Yeah, I got a DUI when I was like 23, and I was maybe to go and get my paper signed. But I fell in love with the fellowship while I was there, and I continued to go for a while. And I'm one of those people, maybe one in 1,000 that before I came here, I really didn't have a problem with alcohol. I drink maybe a beer a night. And for me, that's, something I didn't used to be able to do. And I don't say this to tell alcoholics to go and do this, but I don't think I was an alcoholic. I think I was just binge drinking at the time because I can just have one. But for me, I had a sponsor. I worked the steps, found out a lot about myself, and I love to play.
Thanks for sharing. You don't have to share. I've been, and to also as well.
Courtney.
Hey, Courtney.
I am on day 5, and when I came into recovery first, I really prolonged doing the steps. I probably took about 18 months, and I kept thinking step 1 was I can't, you can't. Step 2, you can, I'll let him, and I'll do the rest of it later. So I really dragged my feet on doing that. Fortunately, I have a sponsor who I had something that I want, and she's very, very deep connect, and she's very compassionate. But when I really got into the steps, then I started to realize that there's a lot of unpacking to do. The unfortunate part is that my life got so much better, but then I started to forget about what was important when I got sober. There's so many things that I did, 90 meetings in 90 days, service work, a web chair, all these different things that kept me sober, and I don't know which one. So I didn't know which one was working, so I had to do it all. But then I made excuses, and every time I made an excuse, every single one went down. And then life happened, and I thought I thought that I couldn't handle it, and I obviously can't, and that is why I'm you.
Thank you.
So my sponsor told me I'm starting on the doctor's opinion, and I'm gonna go through. My goal here is to finish the competency.
Love it.
At least,
yeah, I'm in love with the big book. I am. So, thank you. Yeah, I believe that unpacking. I mean, I've gone through 1 round, and now I'm back on 6 and 7. And it's like, well, I'm not going to use I'm just going to burn my family's money. Literally. I mean, gambling, right? Same thing and the same hit. I don't even got to leave my house, right? So it's like, damn, I got to keep doing this. I got to keep, it's like, I got to keep doing this. I mean, I guess I don't have to, but that's if you believe it's a disease, a chronic, progressive, if left untreated, fatal disease. It's insane. It's insane that.
Question for you. Did you get to a point where your family and friends didn't return your call or answer?
All right. So looking at this feels like amends, right? Step 8 and 9. Look, if your family aren't addicts, I mean, in the big book, it would say there are some unfortunate ones, right? That's if you stay clean. They're unfortunate. Sorry for them. They're probably never going to trust us again, right? I mean, my wife has stayed with me 16 years, right? So, I mean, she's seen me in time, if she's real pissed off about this gamble thing. Like I had to turn up credit card. Here you go, right? Like turn over things. And a lot of it's the behavior. Going back to my family, from Baltimore, like I said, I mean, my amends, I didn't call them. I had to write letters and then like do little ceremonial things. As far as friends, I mean, look, I still don't drive down Pythian, right? It's not that they weren't my friends. Like I would love to let them know all this great stuff that's happening, but it's like, we just don't do the same type of stuff. And so it's like, damn, I mean, I got some friends from Baltimore that have stayed in contact and I've let them know and they know. I don't think they quite understand. I mean, look, like if I go to Raleigh, Durham, right? Because the first thing I do, like if I'm going to go on vacation, what meeting can I hit up? I don't know. I just do that now. Like, sorry. So it's like every holiday, you already know. You already know I'm leaving to go somewhere, to go to a meeting or something like that. So it's like the family, they kind of deal with it. And if I burned them in the past, you can live the program. It takes time. It would take time. I mean, I don't expect them to call you back or be happy with you a year and a half in, right? They're going to want proof. Yes.
I'm Shannon. Is there a meeting guide like there is for AA online?
Yes. Yeah. And same with the Zoom. I do the Zoom. There's a lot of old timers that'll be like, I don't like Zoom. And I'm like, I love Zoom. Like, I swear that, it's worked for my life. Steps to Freedom on Monday night. I swear to you, they're all 40 plus years. Dinosaurs, right? Misery is optional on Wednesday night. In fact, the one guy in that meeting, Ruben, he was sponsored at one point by Vito L., who Vito's about to have 72 years, right? And Vito will be the first to come up in there and be like, hey, once you get it together, you only need to go to 3 meetings a week and whatever. We're like, well, thanks, Vito. You have 72 years, right? It's like, he can get to a place like that. But I digress. Thursday, like tonight, if not now, there's the Just for Today group. This is just meetings that I go to, right? So, yeah, I mean, worldwide, over 100,000 with Narcotics Anonymous. AA is even bigger, Yeah, so I usually go on to natidewater.org. And then it'll get, worldwide meetings, boom, or local. And then I can just go and click and, and I don't know. I keep track of my meetings in my calendar, just like if it was drugs. I shared that a few weeks ago. I knew, oh, is that a 10 milligram? All right, I'll take it. Right. So and I keep track 10 milligrams of recovery. I don't do that. But, one meeting. I know I'm not leaving the house without hitting my knees in the morning. And I'm not going to bed until I hit my knees at night. I swear to you, I swear. It's something that I've done since August 2nd, 2018. And that first year, I was a real prayer mechanic. Like, wherever I went, across, like, oh, I'm in Detroit. Let me get down. I was just praying all the time. And I know that can be like, especially, if y'all are pissed off at God, right? I mean, shoot, where you're at a place like, we're not bad people. Like, we're not, that's what that 4th and 5th step shows us. Like, yeah, we've done some bad things, but if you believe you have a disease, right? You're not responsible for the disease. You're responsible for your recovery if you stay clean. So that's why all my mistakes that I've made, and it's crazy how this higher power allows me to be okay with it. You know what I mean? Like if you were driving drunk and you killed some people, okay, and you kind of got away, but now I guarantee you come to this program and you get clean and do your thing, you'll be volunteering somewhere once a week, helping people. You know, if you was like Elmira squeezing, you know, Elmira from Looney Tunes, she's got the little cross squeezing dogs and cats. You get clean, you find yourself feeding the birds every morning, right? Doing things that kind of make up for some of those mistakes, you know, because at the end of the day, we're all just human. We're all just doing the best we can when we don't put drugs on top. When I don't put drugs on top of it.
I'd love to check that out, but they took all of our electronics.
Yeah, and
I
that
wasn't counting on that. That kind of irked me personally because I thought, well, what am I going to do from here? And if I want to go use, there's nothing stopping me.
that's true. Look,
Nothing.
I always thought too, like, you know, if I was a project manager or I had one of these, I'd have some recovery speakers on nonstop. Like even when y'all go to bed, I'd have like Chuck Chamberlain or like some old cat just nonstop. Cause like if I and I talk about the drugs, I do, you notice that, right? Because in our group pamphlet, you know, we talk about the drugs, because the drugs. But it's like, if I took a bar of Xanax to go to bed, you know, I'd be waking up 8 hours later feeling all right, right? So it's like, even when I was sleeping, I put the drug in me. So I feel like when we go to sleep, why not have some Chuck C playing or, you know, AA Big Book, you know, in the background. They say you can't get this by osmosis. Well, I'm like, oh yeah. So I swear for like the last 6 years and 7 months, I go to sleep with these headphones on, you know, because that's where I am in my recovery, you know, and it's like I listen to, yeah, I kind of do that. I got to get better with that.
It's just like what you were talking about, and I'm interested. I'm going to find it, but the AA Zoom meetings, you don't believe me. You don't have to go drive down the, you know, an hour in traffic, you know, rush hour. You just pull it up and you're right there and it makes it so much more convenient. It's very interesting.
And I feel like just making the effort, just going on and just going on the Zoom and then whatever, at least you made that effort, you know? And I don't care what that old timer said. Well, when I was recovering, I had to run to the payphone with a nickel. Okay, well, guess what? Shit's different now. You know, when we recover, we could go online and find the old step version. We know more about what happened. You know, we have everything there dispensable to us. You know, it's not our fault that that's how it is, but like putting in that work, you know, like that was the thing, like doing the action and like what was shared earlier, like when we let those balls drop. And I don't know why I'm not there yet. Like I could be there. Like it talks about complacency and things, you know? So it's like, I don't know why today I get to be here. I mean, in 2 years, you'd be like, hey, remember that cat that used to come in and talk about Cheetos and boobies? He's out there. I mean, and that's like the truth, you know? But it's like, man, you have to believe that we're miracles. Like there's not just the fact of the drug, right, that can kill us, but the fact that like, we're trying again. It doesn't matter the motive. Okay, so what if there's a reason you're here. They hear something, right? Doesn't matter if I was in a gang and I'm not trying to see what's his name, so I'm hiding out at Avenues for 4 weeks. All right, that doesn't matter. Now you're here. Now you're here and you're getting some type of message, right? I mean, you got to believe that. With so many people dying, you know, so many people dying. Like we're definitely lucky. Chosen at this moment, you have to believe that you're chosen. You know, I mean, look, who's stayed up for multiple days in a row? Hello, damn, like multiple days in a row. Day 7, yeah, I'll take those triple stack E-pills, right? Goosh, you know, like, I mean, that's not so. Like, there is a reason that you have to believe that. I do, I believe that. Like, there is a reason, and I swear, like, most of us, you know, don't come to this point to just then have, I told you, like, you know, that God, like you died and then you found out God's not real. You're going to suffer for it. For some reason, if we do the right thing, it doesn't work that way. I swear. Like, I always thought it was like that. Like, oh shit, I'm about to, like, if we really do the right thing, we find out like, dang, man, most people in the world, I swear when I was using, like, man, well, those wars and the old white dudes. And well, yeah, that's true. But most people in the world, man, I swear, are good. They are. They're doing and even in Narcotics Anonymous, you get in there, right? You got cats with 25 years that, you go to put a tip on the table and that cat puts it in his pocket. Like, he's human, like, I feel like, man, people are doing the best we can, and it's all spiritual. At some point in my life, I forgot that this entire experience of being human was like supernatural, spiritual. Now, there's some people to be like, well, there's nihilism. It means nothing in the end, and all this stuff. And anybody that's ever like theorized nihilism has died. They got a grave. They were born, they died. Right. And so it's like, okay, I accept nihilism. Okay, I accept all that. But then there is beauty. There's all this. And it can be amazing and beautiful, but it hurts because I don't like to feel, and I don't know. It's a feeling disease. Like, at the end of the day, if there's something that I think that we all share in common, is that we don't like feeling, whether it's a successful feeling. Here's the most profound stuff I learned in Narcotics Anonymous: good, bad, and then indifferent. The indifferent feelings mess me up so bad. Like, the feelings I just can't. I don't know if y'all remember growing up when you were like a little kid, and sometimes you get these like butterflies in your stomach, 7 or 8, right? And then it's attached to other stuff, Step 4, there's a big like sexual inventory, all these things. Especially with dudes, right? We always feel like something was a little abnormal. No, we were fine. Like, at the end of the day, we're all kind of like the same. We're all going through these feelings. We're really not alone, But I don't know. For some reason, I thought I was alone, and I forgot that it's this wonderful spiritual life. And then before I knew it, I was miserable and then using just to survive.
My name is Sonia, and I'm an addict.
Love you so.
Sonia. So, like, I want to go back to the medication part of everything, because my family has ridiculed me and put me down because of MAT. I did the methadone off and on for my life, introduced to Suboxone in 2018, and had my increments of using here and there. So when I came in this particular time, my main goal and focus was to do just point blank cold turkey. But as much as I know that other people saw that, I look miserable, I just could not even explain to you how horrible I felt. And I remember the doctor telling me what the success rate would be for relapsing, And I says, I'll think about it. So 3 days, 4 days go by, and I says, you know what? Let's do it. But it made me realize that I was not doing it for me. I'm trying not to take something because of what my family feels like and what they refuse to learn about. Okay. Now, when we take Suboxones and methadone, it still has levels of opiates, especially methadone.
Don't clear.
Okay. Well, we know we can manipulate a lot with that methadone by telling the doctor, oh, it's not enough, I'm still hurting, and this, that, and the third. So how can you compare clean time with such drugs like that really do isolate, distort, and everything, the mentality of us? So, you get my point?
I do. I mean, sugar, okay? And look, the only reason why, my feeling, because I was on methadone at 18, right? And never did methadone without Xanax. And so it was like, geez, and been on Suboxone. And then I finally had to kick that with street Adderall and stuff like that. And again, everybody's journey is different. I feel like if you take it as prescribed by a doctor, our literature protects us. So the literature protects us, all right? And as far as, especially your family too, well, first off, you already know Black families, Uncle Joe's, he's not sick. He's in the attic, right? There's a different mindset, right? And it's the same with the use of drugs. Like, you go to NA and it was like, well, he smoked crack every weekend. Okay, well, I felt like shit after smoking crack, but it is not the same as day 4 cold turkey methadone, diarrhea all over yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like people can, yes, our experiences are the same, but then they're also different. So when me being on medications, I try now. I'll broadcast it here, and I'm cocky enough sometimes to say it in meeting, but like I don't need to go into an NA meeting and say it. When I find the sponsor that's right for me, then we talk about it. I feel like as long as again as you take the but if you're an addict like me, you're always gonna. Well, I know that I could, or you know what, I know, I just couldn't bear it, or like I still do that.
Right.
Like, I mean, I still want to beat myself up with my recovery stick, but it's a disease, and MAT is where we are.
Right.
Okay, well then fine, NA, go to AA. Like I'm not saying go hide out in AA, but do you know what I'm saying? Okay, NA, if I'm not gonna, and it's not that AA doesn't, because I mean AA will say the same thing. AA, our main goal, right, is to be abstinent, right? That's our message, is that we can. It's just each person has a different experience, and each person's journey is the journey, and the journey to abstinence is different for everybody, and it looks different for everybody. It's like you got some dude completely clean for 20 years, but not helping anybody.
Exactly.
People are dying, right? And so then you have other people that take medications as prescribed that are being of service, right? That are trying to work the steps, that are getting. And at the end of the day, if you're getting on your knees and you're praying, oh, but the chemicals keeping me away from God. Hold up. If you believe in the Big Bang Theory, right? The chemical, they was already there. The chemicals, right? The artificial intelligence was all of that was already there, right? So it's like, hold on. I think a lot of that's kind of alcoholism. So alcoholism and addiction are different, right? They are. Now, being an NA person, and it's past the NA time, I can say this. Alcoholism has that perfection, right? And maybe you're trying to be a perfectionist and trying to be perfect, and you can't.
And you know what? And yeah, and you said it correctly. Yeah, I am the perfection. And however, this particular time, I realized that I cannot do it on my own.
That's it. Yeah. And also too, I always want to judge my recovery with somebody else's.
Yeah.
I do. I'm like, oh man, they must have it going on in their recovery. Right. And I'm like judging them. And it's like this is it's yours. It's yours. It's yours. It's yours. You can choose to take it or not. You don't have to, right? It's your disease. It's yours. It's mine. We do it. And it's the same with them. If we ask for help, I promise we'll get it. And Narcotics Anonymous, it's amazing. It changes everything. And we all have a right to recover, no matter what medication you're on, but just know that if you go in and you say certain stuff around certain old timers, they can say stuff. I mean, look, I was run out of meetings when I was on Suboxone years ago. I told someone, I was like, man, I'm on Suboxone. You ain't clean. I said, okay. And left for like 4 years. Like, now maybe he would have looked at it like, well, if you baby the addict, you'll kill the addict. Okay, true. But yeah, I mean, take medication as prescribed. Like that's our opinion. That's what I have to say. And that's, that's what it is. But like the religion, the psychiatry, medicines, all of those, right? They're not sufficient. You can have them all together and they're still not sufficient. You got to have them all together and a program, I swear. If you do them all, right, you get a little religion, your medicine, you say all of it together and do the program, sky's the limit. They're just saying that they're not sufficient on their own. All right. You can combine them all and do a program. I mean, and I'm telling you, that is the future of recovery. Right. Like I go to see my psychiatrist. She knows what step I'm on. She knows who my sponsor is. I don't know. That's just my experience. It could kill you. I mean, no, seriously, they say that like, so some addicts recovery could kill you and others. But so, I'm long-winded. Y'all don't have to stay. You got places to go. But listen, I love y'all. Do y'all want to read the just for today before you pray before bed? I'm joking. I'm joking.
Hey, stay yourself.
Self.
Just today, my